Hello, basketball fans, and welcome to another edition of the Hoop Jack Podcast series. I'm your host, Christopher Armstead, and I know we've been gone a week, but this is going to be worth it because today, for our special co-host guest, we have from For the Love of the Game podcast series and YouTube channel, Jalun Branch. Jalun, it's great to have you back on the show.
Yes, sir, Chris, man. It's good to be back. How you been?
Been doing good, just working a lot, trying to see where this goes and trying to improve every day on the show. What about you, my man?
Man, same here. Just constant growth, tons of basketball. You know what I mean? Football's officially over, so I'm super duper locked in on basketball. We got basketball back on Sundays where it's all day, you know what I mean? From like noon to like midnight. So yeah, bro, I'm soaking it in, man. I've been good.
Yeah, and there's not much left right now in the NBA season. We're getting down to I believe the final month, final three to
Yep.
4 weeks of the season.
16
And
games or so.
only one team has already clinched a playoff spot, and that's Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the favorite to win the title this year?
Oh man. So overall, I think they are the favorites, bro. I think you go back to last year and you see what they did, and then everybody had their comments about who they played, and they were always down a player, and then they blew the 2-0 lead in the finals. But the only thing you come back the following year and bounce back. So far, they've done that, bro. So yeah, I would say they're the favorite, but I will say I don't have them coming out the West. But I do think that like they are the overall favorite, and I wouldn't be surprised if they come out the West, but I actually don't have them coming out the West.
And with Chris Paul having been hurt, I believe it was a
Right.
thumb. It was a thumb injury. He's been out. I believe he's still going to be out until about the end of the year. So he's out until the playoffs start. And they're still, maintaining the top spot in the West, 7.5 games ahead of the Grizzlies. So if you do not see Phoenix coming out of the West, do you see either the other two in Memphis or Golden State? I'm not sold on Memphis, but I could be with Golden State, even though Draymond being out, it shows a weakness.
Yeah, I am sold on Golden State, man. I'm good on a healthy Golden State. They're back to those championship years. Excuse me. By that I mean that they have a deep team again, right? Where now they have
Right.
young guys, but they can sub in their second unit and it not be a production fall off. So they're back to like those days of basketball. And I'm not sold on Memphis either, right? I think if they make it out of the first round, that's a success for them personally just this season. I don't see that going any much further, but I think it's a head-on collision. Western Conference Finals, Golden State versus Phoenix. I will personally take Golden State coming out of that matchup. So that's and I'll trust Steph Curry and them on the other side.
I do like that. And I've said this all year. Memphis has had a great run. I'm not sold as a playoff run team.
Right.
They are young. They're not, there's no real depth veteran wise as far as
Yep.
playoff experience goes on that team. And they've had teams in the past where they've looked good, but they are in a tough Western Conference. Phoenix is tough. Golden State's tough. Utah is still tough,
Yeah.
despite
Sneak
the
up
fact
on
that
people.
they're kind of leveling out. And Dallas and Denver are not far behind. I think, regular season is regular season. You want to look good, but when it comes to playoff time, that's a whole another beast to
Yep.
deal with. And I don't know if Memphis is ready.
And we haven't seen it. You know what I mean? They're not tested. And yeah, the regular season's cool, but like I said, they're not teams in the West that I would take above them when it
Right.
comes down to it. Yeah.
It does. And then moving along to the East, Miami's sitting at the top right now, 45-24. They're looking strong in the East, but I'm not sold on them as the team coming out of the East. I just see it as Philly, Milwaukee, Chicago. Those teams are making those late runs, and they've done so well with the trade deadlines and playouts and everything like that.
Right.
I see, I could see Chicago or Milwaukee as that Eastern Conference final matchup. Even Philly with Embiid and Harden, Maxey on that team
Right.
has been
Yeah.
playing really well. It's tough. This one's a tougher decision for the East, and I don't think we've had that in the earliest years of the NBA, as far as I can remember, it's usually been one team that's a clear cut. They're coming out of the East. It's not even a question. Now you see at least the first five are a good pick.
Yeah,
Even six
well,
are a good pick.
yeah, starting like this transition of the conversation of this is better. Because, like you said, for the longest, it was just strictly the West, right? They always had multiple teams contending for a title. In the East was always like you got that main team, and they're kind of gonna breeze through that side. But it's I don't see Miami as a favorite either. But I guess my question is, in a way, are we overlooking them? Because they're only 3 years removed from being in the bubble and being in the finals there. So I guess like are we overlooking the team, or do we just think there are other teams in the East who they're not the number one seed, but when you put them on a court in a 7 series, they will beat the Heat?
I think what I'm looking at is, can Miami stay healthy enough to complete that run? They've dealt with injuries. Bam Adebayo had been hurt for the longest time. Victor Oladipo had recently just made the lineup due from coming off an
Yep,
injury,
off the end.
and it's been hit or miss some nights. Their last 10, they're 7-3. They're still doing good. You know, they've they've been hitting. I think right now it's tough because I want to be sold on Miami. Miami looks great. You can't beat them at home. They've done really
Mm-hmm.
well at home, 24-9 at home this year, without a doubt, really great. However, when you look at teams who've done something to improve through right after the trade deadline, you're looking at Philly. They've made a strong run. You look at Chicago, even before the season started, they looked great
Yep,
as the number one or two.
yep,
And with injury, it's fallen off. But then you see the rise when they come back. When Zach
yep.
LaVine comes back, it'll be good. Caruso came back and he was spectacular.
Yeah, he came back the other night, came right where he left off.
I just think, it's going to come down to the injuries as far as the East goes, because that's really how it is. Miami, because people can make that claim, well, Miami could get back if, however happens in the playoffs and injuries. I mean, yeah, but you look at
Right.
Miami has depth. People forget that they have a deep team.
Yeah, they do.
Some of these other teams, Philly's not that deep. They got rid of their depth to Brooklyn.
To get James.
But I think we also need to look at the fact that Brooklyn could be that diamond in the rough, make it into a deep playoff run. Remind you that Kyrie cannot play at home still, which
Yeah,
I think by the playoffs it'll change, but they do better on road games where he can play
of
versus at home
course.
where he can't.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think Brooklyn could be that one sleeper team where they start in that play-in series. However, they can make a good run. Now, I don't think they would come out of the East unless something miraculous happened. KD and Kyrie would have to go off for at least 30 each a night for them to make a difference.
Well, I this is what I say, man. If they go into the playoffs with Kyrie Irving on what the mandate is, and depending on what we get about Ben Simmons, they just finished their road trip, so now he's officially able to start ramping it up a little more, getting in the rhythm of playing a little more. If they come back and the mandate's gone, so you have Kyrie Irving full time, and you got Ben Simmons working his way. I have them coming out the East. I don't think there's a better team better than healthy. Of course, you got all these question marks because Kyrie, but the duo of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, as far as the East, I have them over Miami. I think, of course, the 76ers are going to always be in there, but even though they have two superstars, is it just going to click? I mean, they got together in the latter part of the season. They have not played playoff basketball together. James Harden has a knack for not showing up in the big. I think there should be question marks around Philly. They're the newest team. I know they have the superstar power, but it's still that they played together for what, maybe now. I might like 13 games. It hasn't been very long, maybe if
Right.
that. I just think when we look at some of those things, of course, Milwaukee, they're defending champs. I'm leaving them in. Miami, I think, is going to give you a run for their money, but eventually I don't think they're going to. So I think really, unless Boston creeps in there, I think it leaves like Brooklyn. You got to ask about the 76ers. So I think there are just a couple questions, but I really like Brooklyn, man. If the mandate's going, you get Kyrie Irving. I like Brooklyn personally.
I think, like you were talking about the question mark with Kyrie as far as mandate goes, I get it, but I
Yeah,
think the big question mark that you forgot is Ben Simmons actually going to play
right,
and he actually going to improve?
right.
I think people forget the fact that, granted, people gave him a hard time for the playoffs. I get it. But at the same time, when you see all the stuff that he kind of did as far as his workouts go, he was not working out with young talent. He was not working out with, up and coming stars. He was working out with retired guys. Joe
Yeah,
Johnson, who's retired, he's in his 40s. Like, you need to and he could have been working, he could have not been working, but also look at the fact that he lost so much money
yeah.
for not being part of that Philadelphia 76ers organization.
Mm-hmm.
He lost so much money I wish I could have.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel that if he does not perform in Brooklyn, the same kind of mindset to him will happen where, oh, it's not my fault, oh, I'm not going to play, oh, I'm going to use mental illness? I'm not saying he didn't have a problem with mental illness because of, the fans coming down on him. What I'm saying is he can't use that as the only reason to just not make an effort.
Right, right, right. No, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I think if the same situation happens in Brooklyn, then at that point you got to start looking at yourself. But this is the first time Ben Simmons has done this, and the fans have been on him for a while. Like, I'm not sure what triggered this one, but honestly, Ben Simmons coming into this team, I think he'll have a slightly different role where scoring won't be on a premium. In Philly, he was used as a dynamic duo. When you are a part of a dynamic
That team
duo,
built to win a championship. They had the team to do it, they just couldn't. That team
exactly.
was supposed to make it to the finals.
Yes, especially the year with JJ Redick and Jimmy Butler.
Exactly.
Yes.
That team was
So
so far.
right. So but they were a dynamic duo in quote unquote Joel and Ben. A dynamic duo, there's a lot of pressure because two words, dynamic duo, two people, both of them, right? When you go over to Brooklyn, I think he'll be asked to play a slightly different role where, he'll kind of be not more of a role guy because he obviously has the name Ben Simmons, but more like he's obviously going to be that third option. There's still Seth, there's still Patty, there's still other guys, there's still Bruce Brown, who they like a lot. So I think he'll be able to kind of go in, able to have those games he was having in Philly, 8 points, you know what I mean, 9 assists, 7 or 9, just anything
Mhm.
with doubles. But games where in Philly they need more than that because you're a dynamic duo. Where when you bring that to Brooklyn, being that third or fourth option, I think it actually works better in his favor, honestly.
I think so. And it'll really just come down to where, how well does he fit in with that group
Yeah.
to make a difference?
Yeah.
And, time will tell, but, you know, it better, it's going to have to show this year. I think they're scary if they are clicking, Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm not dismissing them as a quality contender for the East.
Yep.
So college basketball has come and gone as far as the conference tournaments goes, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of surprises from, people I was rooting for. Shout out to teams who have been on the show. Shout out to Norfolk State. Shout out to Yale University, and on the women's
Mm-hmm.
side, shout out to Fairfield U. Uh, we've had players from all those teams come on the show. Glad to see
Okay.
you guys have won the title, your conference title. Now it's on to March Madness. And what's interesting is it's the placement of everything. So I'll go over to, one of our teams, Norfolk State. They're the 16th seed taking on the Baylor Bears. Tough draw, but you know, Don't count out a 16 has beaten a one before.
Yeah.
UBC beat Virginia by 20, so it's possible. I mean, could we see it again this year? Get the number ones. You see Baylor taking on Norfolk State. You see Kansas taking on the winner of Texas Southern and what was the other one? Texas Southern and one of the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see that one happening. The other number ones you see Arizona versus the winner of Wright State and Bryant, and Gonzaga versus Georgia State. Of any of those, do you see a potential upset, or do you still see the number ones winning it all?
No, yeah, I'll go one all the way across the board.
Okay.
I'll go
It,
one. But my bad. Like you
but,
said earlier, um, it's happened before. It's March Madness,
mhm.
So of course we
Anything.
go. But hey, who knows?
Some of the other ones we have here, we had Yale, who won the Ivy League tournament. Very close game against Princeton. I had a little bit of money on that one. Uh,
Okay.
but Yale won it out, and they are the 14th seed, taking on number 3 Purdue. Good. Purdue had a great year, 27-7. Yale 19-11.
Yeah, that
I
hurts
like
for Purdue.
Yale played. However, Purdue does had been one of the top 25 teams almost all year. They would look strong. I want to take Yale, be that upset, 14 over the 3, but it's not often that you see a 14 beat a 3. I think the last time, let's see, number 3 seeds have won 84.7% of the meetings.
Oh yeah.
Last year, Abilene Christian upset Texas to become the first 14 seed to win a game since 2016. So
Okay, so about
it's
4 years.
recently, it
Yeah.
happened last year. Is it possible again? Because we have, let's see, Yale against Purdue
Yeah.
as that 14-3. We have Wisconsin versus Colgate. We have Tennessee versus Longwood, Virginia school, and then Texas Tech versus Montana State. Some interesting matchups. I like Yale. I like to see the Ivy League go.
Huh? So you'll
I like
take
to see,
you'll take Yale over Purdue?
I could take Yale over Purdue, and I'd like
Okay.
to see Longwood do it, but just Tennessee was strong this year. Tennessee 26-7, and Longwood 26-6, but
Right. That seems
it,
like more of a
it's
more of
tough.
an even match. Of course, that's on
It's tough.
paper, but
On paper, it looks, I mean, Tennessee, one of the bigger schools, but I could see it happening.
I think I could go for Tech lose.
You could go for Tech losing,
Yeah,
Texas Tech,
Texas Tech.
Montana State. Let's see some of the other ones, closer matchups. We have, the 8 and 9. That's always a tough one. It's right there, both right there. You have Boise State, Memphis, Seton Hall, TCU. You have San Diego State and Creighton, and North Carolina, Marquette. North Carolina was great. They beat Duke in
Yeah.
his, last home game.
Yeah. I'll take North Carolina for sure there. I know there's a difference between a good team and yes, a team who just hasn't been able to get it clicking, for whatever reason all season. But come March Madness, with at the head, and you're gonna fall in line and start to play the UNC way, I'll take them for a good one.
Right. And I can see Davidson, the 10 beating number 7 Michigan State. I see Duke making a really great run. What I would like to see is
Yeah.
Duke win it all. That's
Duke or
personal.
Kansas.
I would like to see Duke win it all. Coach K's last
Hmm.
ride, him winning it all. Um,
And
I
real
can see.
quick, my bad. The
Okay.
Cinderella story. I wanted to say that because that's a great point. I want to say that where, like we just mentioned, UNC, they come out, they ruin Coach K's final game, right? Coach K comes out unscripted. He says that was unacceptable. So they end it there. You lose to your rival team. But the only place you can go from there is to turn that all the way around because Coach K, the season's not over. And then on your last season, bro. I want to say that because yeah, that is the best case scenario. And if I had I would go for Duke as well.
I would. What I can also see, always the Cinderella team. Let me see. Where are they? Where are they? Loyola Chicago.
Of
They're
course.
always the Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
They play 7 Ohio State. I can see them winning. And then if they win, they play the winner of Villanova Delaware. when you think of the NCAA tournament, you think of a few teams. You think of Duke, you think of Nova, you think of UConn, and you think of Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And UConn, a fifth seed, they have New Mexico State, and then the winner of Arkansas Vermont. But I think Vermont would win that game against Arkansas.
Okay,
Vermont
I
has
could
looked
see that.
strong this year. Arkansas was tough. They weren't hot. They were 25-8. Vermont was 28-5. On paper, you want to take the bigger school, but I think you look at the stat lines that the players have had throughout the year. You look at their shooting. Anything can happen, especially in March.
And you feel comfortable taking Vermont.
Oh, I feel comfortable taking
Okay,
Vermont.
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
comfortable taking Vermont. I also feel comfortable taking Miami, the U over USC in that game, and Iowa State over LSU. I'm confident.
Ooh, okay.
It's a tough one, but LSU was not strong this year. Iowa State could be that sleeper that, wakes it up. But I don't see the irony is in my final if I were to make my final four, I would have Duke,
Yeah,
I would have Nova. Let's see. I would have Duke, I would have Nova, I would have Kentucky and Kansas.
yeah. Me too. Except Nova, maybe, but same three.
Except Nova. The only reason Nova only shows their true colors when it's when it's
Mhm.
NCAA. They
Right. Yeah.
always are, they're a sleeper throughout the year, and you don't hear about them until the tournament. But I would love to see a Duke Kansas final.
That's what we all want, man. We've been wanting.
I
We
want
never
a Duke
got it.
Kansas final, and I want to take Duke. I want to take Duke all the way,
I'm
just to
from
see
I'm from Kansas City, so I'm definitely going Kansas.
you're in Kansas.
Yeah, go Jayhawks. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm
I
definitely.
I would like either way. If Duke and Kansas both made it, I would love to see either team win. Kansas is Jayhawk Nation. They live, breathe. That's pretty much where the rules are set.
Of
And
course.
then Duke, Duke's a long history tradition of basketball
Yeah.
championships. You can't think Coach K wouldn't do it after the career that he's had, the college career that he's had. Wants to ride off into the sunset with a national title.
It's definitely a
Unless he,
chance.
unless he pulls a Brady and after 2 months he says, back. I'm coming back. I'm not
What a
done.
move, Brady. Golly, dude.
Oh man. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, we have our one-on-one Hooper profile with Valpo University men's basketball star Eron Gordon. So stay tuned. And welcome back to the Hoop Jack Podcast series, guys. And today, for our one-on-one Hooper profile, we have a very special guest from Valparaiso or Valpo University men's basketball program star Eron Gordon. Eron, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Excited to be on the show today.
Good. So, how I looked at the season for Valpo this year. It was a little, good. You guys had a great run throughout. You had some great games and good scores throughout the season. What can you kind of reflect on the season that you had for? I believe you're a sixth year, correct?
Yep, 6 year, 6 year. I would say it was a pretty up and down season. Obviously, we expected to be at the top of our conference, but we ended off kind of being in the middle of the pack and then falling a little bit below the middle. So it obviously was not the way that we wanted to end, but we definitely had a lot of big wins just throughout the conference play, and we had a lot of big wins throughout the year.
Right. And I always hear Valpo being kind of like the one of the sleeper teams. So it is kind of it's sad not to make the big dance, but it's still
Mhm.
a learning process in return, and also you build on from that in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, that's the one thing about Valpo. It's always been one of those schools where, it's always had a rich history. It's like, Butler, Gonzaga,
Hmm.
just, those small schools that have always, made runs and, normally make the tournament every year. So, it was definitely a privilege to play there.
Right. And you and Valpo actually located in Indiana, correct?
Yep. Okay, in
It,
Indiana.
so you're not far from home. Because you grew up around Indianapolis, correct?
Yeah. I grew up in Indianapolis, so it's about 2.5 hours away.
Okay, so it's not too far from home. You
Yeah.
know, your family can come see you play and everything and be able to support you. And you actually have a very rich basketball kind of family, like your dad
Mhm.
playing college ball at Liberty. You have two other brothers playing at Liberty, Arizona State, Indiana, and one of your older brothers, Eric, made it to the NBA. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So basketball has always been kind of with you pretty much your entire life. So was that kind of you wanted to be a part of like the family kind of basketball, tradition, or was that like were you did you think you wanted to step outside or just still be kind of your own, I want to find my journey with basketball?
I would say I mean, it's a twofold question. Obviously, for me, I've always wanted to play basketball just like how my dad did, just like how I saw my brothers do it. But I chose a different path. I graduated from a different high school than them. I went to two different colleges than they went to. So, I still, want to follow my own path, but I definitely have learned everything from them. So, I would say just for the love of the game of basketball and every single thing that they've taught me, it's all because of them. And, I definitely want to follow their footsteps in terms of that, but not necessarily, just their, as they say now, name, image, and likeness.
Right, with the whole NIL, you want to make your own brand, you want to make your own
Yeah.
name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you played for two high schools. You went to Cathedral High School and Central High School. What was kind of the competition like? Because I know Indiana, the Hoosier State, that's live, breathe, and eat basketball. What was that competition like playing at both Cathedral and North Central?
Oh, well, I mean, that's in all reality, I mean, playing in, Central Indiana, it's probably the best, I would say, uh, not non-prep school basketball in the country. Obviously, I
Hmm.
mean, we start talking about Lalamere and Oak Hill, and you start talking about the top level prep school. I mean, nothing can compare to that in terms of talent. But I would say Central Indiana is the best basketball, being played all, in all the country, for high school. And I just think that the history is rich, and it's not just the good players. I think that's one thing that gets overlooked because a lot of players, from Central Indiana, they do go and play Division One. I mean, right now I could get, you know, 8 or 9 Division One players that live within 2 miles of me, like right now, and I think that that's not just a justice to people who end up playing, NAIA or Division Three or Division Two guys that were really good. So I think that's what really, is keeping Indiana so good is that the seventh and eighth person on the bench on the high school team is really good, and they're probably going to play college somewhere. Which is, you go to different states, the seventh and eighth man will probably never sniff a college court, and I think that's what really makes Indiana different.
Right, because you kind of build it around that. You want to build not only just a strong 5-man roster, you want to build a strong even 10-man roster. You want
Yeah.
guys to just be able to keep playing at a even after high school. You want to give them that chance
Yeah, and
instead.
that's one thing with Indiana. We've always had multiple guys, playing in college, even if it's not, a big time school.
Right. And like you said, there's no problem with playing NAIA, JUCO, D3, D2 as long
Mhm.
as you're playing at a college and at the college level, you've made the statistic of playing further than high school.
For sure, for sure. I mean, that's always the key. And I mean, some people look for different things. So, I'm actually, about to train kids here in a little bit. One thing I always tell them is, get what you want out of basketball. Some people they don't want to be NBA players, they don't want to be professionals, they don't want to play Division One and have all that time taken out. But if you want to play college basketball, there's a lot of benefits to playing Division Three. There's a lot of benefits to playing in AI. There's a lot of, there's so many benefits to playing outside of just basketball and wanting to make it to the next level. It's a lifestyle thing.
Right. It definitely is. And when you started getting ready for college basketball, you started your college career at Seton Hall for the Pirates. Is that correct?
Yep, start there. My first 2 years of college.
And what was that like playing a little bit further away from home under head coach Kevin Willard?
It was a really unique experience. I went there with kind of just the golden era of Seton Hall. I mean, being able to play with that, graduation class, probably the best graduation class that they've ever had. That 2014 team with like Desi Rodriguez, Angel Delgado, Kadeem Carrington. Isaiah Whitehead left early and went to the NBA, but Isaiah Whitehead was in that class. Mike Enzi, Ishmael Sonogo. I mean, all those are guys that are still playing professionally today. Whether it's in the NBA or a top level overseas league. So being able to play with that class was absolutely amazing, and I would say that has really helped me shape my college career.
Right. And so it helped you build your game and kind of build kind of the rep that you wanted to have in the college basketball circuit.
Yeah, for sure. Just being able to be on the court with those guys. Those guys have won in the tournament, have, done a lot of stuff, before I even got there. They won the Big East tournament before I even got there. So it was just like, let's take it to the next level. Let's win some games in the tournament. Let's make it to the Sweet 16. Let's make it here, and that was a very unique experience for someone coming into college.
Right. And then after your 2 year, you said 2 years at Seton Hall, and then transferred back home to Indiana to play at Valpo under head
Mhm.
coach Matt Lodich. What was the kind of decision to transfer back home?
Yeah, so the situation at Seton Hall was actually, pretty solid, but with like I said, with we had five guys leaving, they were all, prominent figures, to me, prominent figures to the program. And two of the assistant coaches that recruited me, Sheen Holloway, he ended up Peter's job, and Fred Hill, another person who I was really close with, was retiring, and with Kevin Willard, not necessarily knowing exactly what he was going to do with his future in coaching. I just decided, it's probably about time for me, not knowing what the future holds, to check out some other schools, and that's what I did.
Right. And I'm not saying that it was you made a decision based on how you could make a difference, how you can get better. And I feel that a lot of times people kind of judge that in a sense, why did he move? Well, I mean, a lot of players want to move because, I want to feel like I want to make a difference to a program.
Hmm. I mean,
And
that really wasn't the reason why for me. I feel like I was making a big difference at Seton Hall. I just think, for me, with this still being a lot of uncertainty, I definitely wanted to go to a program that was building, a program that had, a lot of younger players, a younger coach, and just the uncertainty of being away from home and wanting to come back and do something there.
okay. And I get what you mean. Like you said, uncertainty. You didn't know what was going to happen at Seton Hall.
Yeah, and that's it's different when you are not not even on the same coast of your city. It's
Right.
especially being from Indiana. It's definitely hard.
Because Seton Hall is located in New Jersey, and
Yep.
you're, I believe, more than a couple hours away from
Oh yeah, I mean
Indiana.
that is a what 12-hour drive, 11-hour drive.
Yeah, pretty much a full day.
Yeah.
So I get it. You wanted to be closer to home. When I totally agree with that. I actually like the fact that people, and it's good for when people want to come see you, family, friends, anything like that.
Yeah, especially as you're getting older, and just a lot of I would say this: if there is one thing that I would suggest for people to do, is to take that leap of faith, and you know to see new things. Obviously, if I feel like if you're a McDonald American, I think it's always really good to have support in your hometown. But if you're outside of that, I would always tell people to experience something new, and just as a life experience, just go ahead and go to another program. Because for me, I've always dreamed of playing in the Big East. Obviously, both my brothers played in the Big Ten. My brother Evan played in the Pac-12 for a year, and that was really cool. But the Big East games, I remember growing up watching like guys like Kimball Walker, and all those guys, like Chris Dunn, seeing all those guys go crazy when I was in high school, middle school. I've always wanted to kind of be like them in college, and that's kind of where I fell in love with. And by the time I was a senior, I only was getting recruited by mostly Big East schools, so it was a good privilege for me.
Right. And then once you transferred to Valpo, what was it like playing under head coach Matt Lodich during your time?
Yeah, it was. I would say it was a really cool experience because Coach Lodick is somebody who I would say is a true players coach. I would say one thing with him is he always is trying to get a feel for, how things are on the court because he obviously was a really, really good player himself. A lot of people don't really know that. I mean, he was the starting point guard on the number one team in the country. So that is something that not a lot of people can say that they have, as a coach.
Right. And then I believe during your time at Valpo, we kind of got hit with the pandemic and everything like that. Correct?
Yeah, we got hit with the pandemic pretty bad.
So how are you? Because a lot, I mean, when I talk to a lot of other people, it affected them physically because they couldn't go out to play. It affected
Mhm.
them mentally because they used to have like the routine that they normally would have. How were you able to kind of overcome a lot of the things that a lot of other basketball players and athletes had to deal with?
I'm gonna go out here on a limb and say, for me personally, it didn't really affect me mentally, nor honestly as routine wise, I probably felt like it could have.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, for me, luckily, my dad had the basketball academy, and my brother Evan, who he was coming back from China, I was able to work out with them each and every single day, whether it just be just at home workouts. I still finished up my degree at home, throughout the pandemic, and I kind of just went to class and pretty much did every single thing the same. So I was pretty lucky out of all these basketball players, that were playing and got their season cut short. A couple people got their season cut short, and I wasn't really just at home. I was still, getting into the gym a little bit, working out with my dad, and kind of keeping the same routine. So that was a really unique experience for me.
So it's good that it didn't affect you that much in a way. You
Yeah.
still able to kind of keep that routine and make sure to keep staying in shape and making sure school, getting your work done and everything like that.
Yeah, that was I would say that was really key, for me. It's just trying to keep every single thing the same, and I was able to do that.
And then, funny enough, we were talking earlier about, trying to make your own name, brand, everything like that. You have a couple of little deals out there, businesses that you're working with. One of
Yeah, I
them,
have quite a few.
yeah, one of them, the first one I'll go over EG, which is kind of your shirt brand with boosted
Yeah,
bit. Um, how do you come up with just each? Because what I like about it is not only just EG, but it's like kind of like you're in the E and the G in a
yeah.
sense. How did you come up with that kind of design?
Oh well, I think they already had sort of a template made, and one thing about that brand with Booster Biz is they are a company, so, I kind of let them, they showed me some templates that they had, and I said, I kind of like that one. I just said, kind of just be a little creative with it. And I mean, they came out with the EG and then Aaron Gordon under, and then in the E and the G, they had a picture of me in a photo shoot, one of me in the game. So I thought it was really cool, and I said, this is definitely a really good logo to have on a shirt and even on the side of a pants.
Right, and I like it. I've
Thanks.
company, we've started to work with them as well, kind of get our
Mhm,
brand out there. So, and they are a good company. They kind of help you get your name out there, and then part of
mhm.
the profit for when merch gets sold. So, good luck to you with that brand.
Thank
You
you, thank
also
you.
work with the
Yep.
Fitville, I believe, and I believe that's a shoe company.
Yeah, so it's a clothing wear company all together. I mean, they have clothes. It's actually a little bit more known for clothes, but they are coming out with shoes now. I believe they have four shoes now, and
Hmm.
where are the shoes at? Um, I do not have the shoes on me right now, but they gave me the the gray ones, and they are really good, and I really enjoy that. And that partnership is extremely good. I would say that is a partnership that I probably hold really close because for me personally, I was on open sponsorship and they contacted me. And normally on open sponsorship, you normally contact other people and kind of, give them their spiel. So it was really unique for me just to for someone to contact me and really want to sponsor me. So that was really cool.
And I did notice that the brand, the clothing brand itself, like closed shoes, they do look really nice and they do look comfortable to kind
Yeah,
of
very comfortable. The shoes are very comfortable.
have. So yeah, and then also you have something working with Kenichi Bear headphones.
Yeah, Kenichi Bear headphones. So that is actually a 16-year-old kid, and he decided that he wanted to come out with his own headphones called Hibernation 5, and for me, I just really wanted to just support the kid because for me, as someone who was always kind of young, because I started a podcast younger, I've always done a lot of things younger. I've always just wanted to support someone who was younger, and I hit him up, telling him that I definitely want to support his brand, and we worked some out, and it's definitely a really unique experience for headphones because I use it for gaming and I use it for working out, so it's something that is really a really unique experience.
And that's good that you are helping out even a kid with kind of his dream as well. And plus, I do see that the headphones do look really nice. They look like they really do the job for, like you say, gaming, working out, kind of noise canceling in a sense.
Yeah, it's a really good headphone.
And then you have your own business, which is just the Eron Gordon business. Like you have your gaming,
Yeah,
TV, news, podcast. Um,
yeah,
is that kind of just everyone keeping in tabs with you in a sense?
yeah. So for me, I've always been a person who is, multi, dimensional when it comes to just the way how I, do my journalism. So I like to separate things up. So whenever I'm a person, I love doing podcasts, like stuff like that you're doing now. Like I have my own podcast and I love doing it. I love, what kind of like what you're doing now, like what we're doing now. I love doing that with other people. I really enjoy having these conversations, learning about other people, just learning in general. So that's something that I do. And then I have my gaming channel. A lot of people love video games just like me. And, I start to notice that once I posted something on social, and other people were like, you should put it on live, you should put it on live. So then I just started a streaming channel. And then I've always been big on vlogging. I've always vlogged my trips. My dad has always been a person who's always taking pictures and has taken a ton of video. And I fell in love with that. And then my Aaron Gordon News channel is something that I've had for a long time, which, I do interviews, I talk about, certain topics, and it's just something that I've grown over the course of the years.
And that's good that you have that because have that outlet as a way to kind of get, like you said, get to know new people, kind of reach out with your name as far as gaming, as far as news, kind of hear other people's stories in a sense, because like you said, that's kind of it's what we do essentially. We want to give that outlet to people to just tell their story, because a lot of people could either relate or a lot of people can understand, look, this is how hard it works to kind of get to where I am.
For sure. I definitely agree with you on that.
And then so you're reaching the end. So are you graduating this year from Valpo?
Yeah, so I actually graduated with my undergrad in 2020 during the pandemic, and then I actually finished my master's degree in December, and now I'm getting like a little minor for a master's, like a certificate right now.
Right, because you graduated in 2020 with a degree in journalism and you
Yeah,
pursued your master's in sports administration.
yeah.
So, what's kind of the next stop? Do you want to keep playing overseas? Do you want to try continuing with what you can work on with your degrees? What's kind of what's the next step?
Yeah, as of right now, I'm going to sign an agent and see what I can do from there. So obviously with that being said, I don't know what is to come with that, but right now I plan on playing for the national team for the Bahamas in July, and then I plan on playing in the TBT in no, I plan on playing on the national team with the Bahamas June 1st, and then I plan on playing with the TBT Valpo team July 22nd.
Can't wait to watch that then. That'll be
Yeah.
I love watching the TBT.
Yeah, the TBT is something that I when Valpo had made the TBT team, I said I have to play. There's just nothing that I enjoy more than watching the TBT, over the past 4 years. So being able to be a part of it is as really huge for me.
That's good to hear that you have a plan set out, like you say, get an agent, play in the national, play with the Bahamas national team, play in the TBT. the sky's the limit for you, man. Can't
For
wait to
sure,
see.
for sure.
And my last question to you is, what advice would you give to kind of the next generation of high school basketball players wanting to play at the college level?
Oh man, I have a ton of different advice. I give some new advice every single day, but I would just say, first off, I would just say, especially where they're at, just enjoy the moment because it goes by really fast. I mean, I've been in college for 6 years, so including my first year of high school to college, it's been 10 years, and I feel like it flew by. I would just say, enjoy each and every moment. Like for example, like my high school Cathedral, they just made it to the semi-state, and I know some of the players, and I just say, just enjoy this moment, especially, guys that are, sophomores, juniors, seniors, because obviously, you don't come by and make it to semi-state each and every year, and it's not something that you expect to happen. So just enjoy the moment, live in the moment, and I would just say, just be there, be present, and you'll really enjoy it because this stuff goes by fast. And I would say take advantage of the game. Don't let the game take advantage of you. You just see a lot of that. A lot of kids are, very dependent on the game of basketball. And I would just say, use basketball for something that you love. Get a lot out of it that a lot of kids wouldn't. Like I said, because of basketball, I'm able to, get my master's degree paid for, get my undergrad degree paid for, get all these sponsorships paid for. The game of basketball has provided so much for me, and it should be, providing for everyone else. So I would just say, let you use the game for benefits outside of basketball.
And that's some great advice to have. And I know, like, you've been around the block playing in some of the best high school, some of the best high schools in Indiana, and even playing some of the best colleges that the country has to offer. So,
Yeah,
thank you for that great advice, and thank you for coming on the show.
for sure. Thank you. Happy to be on.
All right, and guys, make sure to check out Eron for the rest of his time at Valpo, and I know can't wait to catch you for the national team of the Bahamas and the TBT as well. Looking forward to seeing you there.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. And guys, we'll be right back with more Hoop Jack, so stay tuned. And we're back, guys. So I want to thank Eron for taking the time to come on the show. Looking forward to seeing his career go off, finishing off his degrees, and you know, guys, make sure to check out his work with all the companies that he's worked with Boosted Biz, the Fitville, Kenichi Bear headphones, and even his own personal business. So make sure to check him out. All the links will be put on the page, on the post. Check it out. So for our Boosted Biz deep dive, and we are working with Boosted Biz for our merch line, the Hoop Jack podcast series. You guys can go check it out. Get you some swag. Got some cool shirts, sweatshirts, sweatpants, anything you
Mhm.
want. It'll fit your size. Make sure to check it out. Anything helps the channel. Get our message out there. Get the word out. So recently, I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday,
Yeah.
there was a big announcement in the sports world, specifically the NFL. After 2 months of retirement, Tom Brady said, "I want to go back to
Yeah.
playing." He's like, "Yeah, I'm tired of retirement." I'm like, "Oh, I have like a pro and a con because
Okay.
I felt because when Kobe Kobe had passed, he didn't he didn't live retirement to its fullest.
Right.
It was kind of cut short because he spent his nearly half of his life in the NBA,
Yep. It was.
and he only got to spend, I believe, 4 years of retirement, which isn't enough at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. No.
But what I see with Tom Brady is he he wasn't, highly recruited as Kobe was. He wasn't a higher pick than Kobe was, but I don't think you can dismiss the work that he's put in to the NFL and what a difference he makes to a team that he does. And I think there's nothing more he needs to prove.
Yeah.
I think you just need to stay out because one good hit and you're done.
Yeah.
I think we see that and you think, is it even worth coming out of retirement to try? Because what I feel is like there's other teams out there who are better than them. Right now, they've improved. Like you looked at the Rams this year, they were going to win it no matter what. And I think Matt Stafford deserved that Super Bowl
Right.
after spending almost his entire career in Siberia, aka with the Lions,
No,
because they're not a winning program. They're
no,
not.
no, 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 they weren't. But I think when you look from Tom Brady's perspective, I mean, 2 months of retirement, bro, like that is like you thought you were done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like, nah, I still have this sensation to still numbers. He had his best year statistically. Right? So
Right.
although he has nothing to prove, he had one of his best years in his 22nd season. So you factor that in, they are just a blown call away from going possibly Super Bowl, at least taking that game in overtime. They called a blitz, left Cooper. Just a bad call in the situation of the game. Rams had no timeouts, wasn't the best call, but they did that despite AB leaving. Chris Godwin hurt his AC. So from Tom Brady's point of view, he had one of his best seasons statistically, and his team was arguably, a drive away from going to a Super Bowl, and they full strength. So I think he's just taking like the one more. I mean, hey, we say one more, and we're gonna keep saying every year, but we don't know when, obviously. So he's gonna take the one more crack at it approach though, and just I think he has something left in the tank, bro. I think that's why he's coming back. I think the O line try to protect him as much as you can, but he knows some hits come back with him stepping back onto the field. So, but hey, unfinished business, like you said.
Man, you say one more when it's a game of 2K and you want to run it back. You say
Right.
more at a pickup game because you lost by a jump shot.
Nah, facts.
You say one more when it's, you want an extra piece of food.
Yeah.
You don't say
Yeah.
one more to try to make a deep run for the Super Bowl.
And
That's
knowing
not
that,
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
not one more. That's like two more, three
I
more.
was just about to say, knowing that it's gonna lead on to more, bro. Yeah.
Because that's just, I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm saying, were you not happy at home? Were you that bored? Were you that bored at home to say, you know what, I'm not done yet. I want to go back to the game. And it's hard. I admit, it's hard to want to quit because that's the lifestyle that you've had.
Right.
But spending time with your loved ones is more important than work, than trying to focus on work. Like he could have, like it's different. Like I think about it as, you could have spent more time with your kids. You could have, gone off. He has more business ventures than you could imagine. He's set for life.
Right.
Like he could go create a business and it wouldn't even hurt his bank account or it wouldn't even hurt a fly. Because he could do that. His name and that thing, it'll create millions of dollars. I think that's what he should do, but that's what he could do.
Yeah, I think he still
But
he has
leave the game
something left in him.
it's hard to leave the game when
Yeah.
they were close. They were close. I think it just came down to the Rams had it more, and they were the favorite regardless. Like Tom Brady, the Bucks were great in the regular season, but the Rams were just looked better overall. They looked stronger. They looked a lot better. And
Yeah.
not
No, for
on
sure.
an OB, it wasn't even close. Odell Beckham Jr. had his best that last half of the season when the Rams picked him up. He had a better half of season than the three that he had with Cleveland.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Whoa,
For sure. I
like
mean, they used him the right way. He's
they did.
still a valuable piece. He got hurt again, so we'll have to
Mhm.
see. But he's still a valuable piece. So yeah, they knew exactly what to do when they were picking up Odell Beckham.
He got his Super Bowl touchdown and then he got
Yeah,
hurt. Still,
yeah,
Matthew Stafford found a way to win that game, and
yeah. Nah, and that Super Bowl does like that's all. Shouts out to Matt Stafford. That last drive, he was in Cooper Cup on this field, man, and we got to get it done. So definitely shout out Matt Stafford because he need a
right.
little respect on his name.
But I think on the aspect of it's tough to leave the game that you love. But I think weighing the pros and cons of we run it back for one more when you don't even know. I don't. They're not. I think I could look right now and tell you that they are not the favorite.
Yeah,
Even
yeah, no, not at this current moment.
no, because I'm gonna check it real quick just to be a little accurate.
Now, to play devil's advocate,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, much like LeBron James, is one of those guys where they don't have to be the favorite. You just need them on your team to make something happen.
So it's interesting that the Rams are not the favorite. It goes Buffalo, Green Bay, then Tampa.
Okay, so the
Which
third. Okay.
which is interesting that Buffalo is number one.
Yeah, very interesting.
Green Bay number two, but that's with the re-signing of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I think Buffalo, the fact that they look good they looked really good in the regular season, but they were not a playoff team. They
right.
were not a playoff team. I am interested that the Chiefs are higher than the Rams, even though the
Yeah,
Rams didn't really lose nobody.
yeah. No,
Uh,
they're coming back. They're waiting on Vaughn and OBJ, but no, they're coming back.
but they're coming back. They're
Yeah,
bringing that one back,
yeah,
like
they
you said,
got to.
like, and they can. It's not even an if, but I don't know. I think time will tell what'll happen with that season. I mean, if how would you feel if LeBron retired 2 months later? I'm coming back. I mean, you
Yeah,
would
I don't.
say
Yeah,
you would say the same thing, like we running it back one more time.
right.
But let's think. The Lakers suck.
Yeah.
They suck, and I'm a fan, and they suck.
Oh yeah, no, no.
They
Lakers are
are.
bad, but with you being a Lakers fan, I want to ask you this every time I come on. I asked you about Russ last time. I'm not gonna ask you that again. I'm gonna say minus AD. AD's played 37 games. Russ
Mm-hmm,
hasn't lived up to the hype.
mm-hmm,
With LeBron carrying such a load, when you
uh-huh.
look around, bro, I mean, don't you expect them to suck? I mean, they're a bad team minus Anthony Davis and then minus Russell Westbrook not playing, you know what I mean, to the level you thought he would. Look at LeBron, then out there with the guys he's out there with. I mean, Wayne Gabriel's getting big minutes now. Austin, like
I,
the team itself is not very talented, so I expect them to suck. Yes.
I think about this. The Lakers have no bench,
Mm-hmm.
and they're sitting at 29 and 38. Philly has no bench, and they're sitting at 41 and 25.
Yeah.
Neither team has a deep bench, and you can admit that Philly doesn't have a bench. They got rid
Right.
of the bench to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and they're sitting at 41 and 25. Now,
Yeah.
granted, that was before they had a bench, but they're still sitting 41-25. The problem is the Lakers do not think long term,
Right.
which is terrible because I think the last time they thought long term was probably around the mid 2000s with Kobe and Gasol. They had you had Odom, you had Farmar,
Yeah.
you still technically had Fisher,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Derek Fisher was there.
but they had a deep team. That team was deep. Now, granted, it was not all-star players, but they were guys who could fill in and distribute and make a difference.
No, yeah, you're right.
This Laker team has nobody.
Yeah. No, no, they don't. They're truly a bad team, bro. And we're asking LeBron James to do the same things he was doing at 26 to do them at 36.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, bro. They don't. Yeah, they're not a good team. They're not a good team.
I look at this, and people have made their reference. You know how the Super Bowl halftime show, it would have been the greatest halftime show in like 2005?
Yeah.
This team would have been the greatest team in 2010
Yeah.
or
Right. Right. Right.
2013. This team would have been great 2013, but it's not. This is 2023, and LeBron is nearing the end. He
Mm-hmm.
hasn't slowed down, but he's nearing the end, and I feel wherever his son gets drafted, you can expect him to go 100%. If he
Yeah.
goes to Cleveland, he's going to Cleveland. If he goes to Golden State, LeBron's going to go to Golden State. Not even question. And LeBron will take. LeBron could play for free.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point,
State. He could play for free
yeah, he
and
could
he'll
at
go
this
to
point.
Golden State. And I'm wondering if then the league will veto that like they did us when we should have had Chris Paul.
Yeah, that Chris Paul, man.
Would
That'll always go down as one of the
amazing.
worst vetoes.
I think the fact that we got vetoed for Chris Paul, but then Golden State didn't get vetoed for Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I
Well, you know, the NBA changed by that time. They changed by that time. When Chris Paul wanted to go,
Dude,
they weren't.
and I think the fact that the time and it was true. The time we could have had Chris Paul, oh, we would have won we would have won 3 in a row. It wouldn't have been close.
Right.
Chris Paul would have had a ring. Dwight Howard would have had a ring. Kobe would have definitely probably been the greatest of all time. He probably could have gotten 8, and it
Yeah,
wouldn't have
well,
been close.
well, if you let me tell it, and for all the people listening, Kobe Bryant is the greatest of all time. So, yeah.
Yeah. But that's going to be it for our Boosted Biz segment, guys. We're going to close it here with our mindful moment. Being that it's Monday, guys, just take one day at a time. The weather is fluctuating, so always make sure to check the weather. Try not to freeze. But spend time with your loved ones. Spend time with your family. Don't overwork yourself to a point of exhaustion because it's gonna hurt in the long run. Like I and don't bring your work home. That's really the thing. Don't bring your work home. But what about you, Jay? What's your mindful moment?
Man, I'm gonna go right off what you're saying. Understand that rest is a part of the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have a balance, right? So grind, grind, grind. Of course, there's a such thing as grinding too much. Sleep is one of the most important things you can have. Diet, things like that. So don't get caught up in the chase. Don't get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stay present and always take the time to rest and come back, right? So don't take your time, and rest is one of the most important things in life. So rest and understand that rest is a part of the process. That happens.
Right. I can't say it better myself. And that's going to be it for another episode of the Hoop Jack Podcast series, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. I want to thank Jay for taking the time to come on the show. And guys, make sure to check his page out for the love of the game on Instagram, on YouTube. Channel's up and rolling, isn't it? Oh man.
YouTube, type in the acronyms FTLOTG, TikTok, Instagram, FTLOTG __ 24. Channel is up and rolling. Y'all can go check out everything right there.
You heard it here first, guys. Make sure to go check it out. And remember, don't be a bystander, be a hooper, and keep balling. Peace.